You know that feeling when you were in school, maybe, and it felt like the lessons were just designed for someone else's brain?
Oh, absolutely. Like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, right?
Exactly. Well, today we're taking a really fascinating plunge into how one team over in Oman is trying to fix exactly that. And they're using some pretty cutting-edge artificial intelligence to do it.
That's right. We're looking at an AI-powered personalized learning system. It's really exciting work coming from Dr. Qamar Ul Islam and his team at Dhofar University.
Okay.
It's got backing, too. Funding from the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, MoHERI. It was an undergraduate research grant, actually.
An undergraduate grant.
Yep, Omar, 1,500 total. And Dr. Ul Islam, who holds a PhD and is a fellow of the Higher Education Academy, he was the faculty mentor guiding the project.
Okay, great. So our mission for this deep dive then is to really get under the hood, understand how this AI system is supposed to make learning in Oman not just, more effective, but maybe even something students actually connect with.
Precisely, making it more engaging.
Right. So let's get right into it. What were the big problems, the sort of cracks in the usual way of doing things that sparked this whole idea?
Well, the research from Dr. Ul Islam's team really zeroed in on something fundamental. Students just learn differently. I mean, wildly differently sometimes.
Visual learners, audio learners.
Exactly. You've got visual people who need repetition, auditory learners, others who absolutely need to get their hands on something to understand it. But traditional systems, they often just deliver the same stuff the same way to everyone in the room.
Yeah, the classic one-size-fits-all. And the downside of that is?
Well, it's pretty significant, unfortunately. Students can just check out, become disengaged, they struggle to remember things, and, at the end of the day, their grades can suffer. This hits particularly hard in schools that might already be stretched thin resource-wise.
Right. Makes sense.
So the whole point of this project, the driving force, was to shift away from that, to use data to create learning experiences that actually adapt to how each individual student thinks and learns.
Okay, so data-driven adaptation. How does the AI actually do that? It sounds complicated. It's not like waving a magic wand, is it?
No, not quite magic. But it is clever. Essentially, the AI acts like a really, really attentive tutor, but one that can work with lots of students at once.
Okay, how?
It watches how a student interacts with the lessons.
Yeah.
How fast they go through something, where they pause, maybe where they seem to spend extra time, what kinds of questions trip them up.
So it's constantly gathering little clues about their learning process.
Precisely. All these little data points, all that interaction information gets fed into machine learning algorithms.
Ah, the machine learning part.
Yeah. Think of it like the system learning over time. It starts recognizing patterns, what works for certain types of learners, where different students tend to struggle, just like a human tutor gets better with experience.
Got it.
And based on these patterns, the system builds up this detailed picture. They call it a learner profile for each student. And that profile dictates how the content gets presented next.
Okay, that's clear. Can you give us some solid examples? Like, if I'm struggling with, say, fractions, what might the system do differently for me?
Great question. So if the system sees you're having trouble with fractions, it might first try offering a simpler explanation, break it down into smaller chunks.
Okay.
Or it could give you some interactive quizzes, maybe with instant feedback, so you're not just passively reading, but actively doing something. That can really help solidify things.
Right, more engagement.
Definitely. Another thing it might do is offer a short explainer video. Sometimes seeing the same concept explained visually, maybe with animation, just clicks in a way text doesn't.
So different formats for the same idea.
Exactly. The key is variety and responsiveness, catering to what the AI has figured out about your specific learning style.
That sounds pretty powerful. But where do the teachers fit in all this? Are they still, central?
Oh, absolutely. Crucial. The system isn't meant to replace teachers at all. It's designed as a tool for them to augment what they do.
How does that work?
There's a teacher dashboard. It gives them a real-time look at how every student is doing, flags who might be falling behind or finding things tough.
Ah, so it helps them target their help better.
Precisely. Teachers can see, okay, these 3 students are stuck on this concept, and then intervene directly. Or they might see a class-wide pattern and adjust their next lesson plan accordingly. It gives them actionable insights.
Now, bringing new tech into schools, that can be tricky. It needs to fit the local context, right? The culture, the national goals. How did Dr. Ul Islam's team handle that for Oman?
Yeah, that was a really big focus right from the start. They didn't just build the tech in isolation.
Yeah.
The whole project was developed with Oman's national education aims front and center. The curriculum framework inside the system, it's directly mapped to Oman's official standards.
Okay, so it aligns properly.
And crucially, they talked to people on the ground. Teachers, education policymakers, they were consulted throughout the development. Getting that input was key to making sure it would actually be useful and practical in a real Omani classroom.
That makes a huge difference. Tech is useless if people don't find it relevant or easy to use.
Couldn't agree more. And on that note, the interface itself is bilingual, seamless, Arabic, and English. That makes it immediately accessible and, culturally comfortable for the students. Plus, they thought about the practicalities. Internet access isn't always perfect everywhere, right? And not every school has tons of devices. So they specifically engineered the system to work reasonably well, even with limited connectivity or fewer devices available.
That's really important for equity, isn't it? Making sure it doesn't just benefit the best resource schools.
Absolutely vital. And zooming out a bit, this whole initiative fits perfectly with Oman's Vision 2040.
The National Development Plan.
Exactly. Vision 2040 really emphasizes digital transformation, including in education. So this project is like a concrete example of putting that vision into practice in the classroom.
Okay, so we've got the theory, the design, the cultural fit. What about the reality check? What happened when they actually tested it with students? Where did they do the pilots?
They ran pilot programs in selected schools across Salalah.
What was the feedback like?
Really positive, actually. Very promising initial results. Teachers consistently reported seeing students much more engaged with the lessons.
More tuned in.
Yeah, more active, participating more. And importantly, they also noticed positive trends in test scores, especially in tricky subjects like math and science.
Wow, okay. So tangible academic improvements too.
The full data analysis is ongoing, of course, but the early signs point towards an upward trend in average scores for students using the system compared to traditional methods.
That's fantastic. But you mentioned something earlier, something beyond just scores.
Yeah.
About the student experience.
Yes. And for me, this is maybe the most exciting part. Some students actually told the researchers they were enjoying learning, some for the very first time.
Wow, that's huge.
It really is. It speaks volumes about how personalization can change a student's whole attitude towards school and learning. Dr. Ul Islam put it nicely. The goal is to help students shift from being just passive receivers of information to becoming active, curious, enthusiastic explorers of knowledge.
That's a powerful goal, a real mindset shift. So what's next? Where does the project go from here? Are they planning to roll it out more widely?
Absolutely, that's the plan. They're actively working on making it scalable so it can be deployed in many more schools across Oman.
Okay.
They're also looking at integrating it with the national e-learning platforms that already exist, to create a more joined-up digital learning environment.
Makes sense. Streamline things.
And they're developing specific training modules for teachers. Because having the tech is one thing, but making sure teachers feel confident and skilled in using it effectively, that's critical for success.
Definitely need that teacher buy-in and support. And you mentioned something about adapting it for specific needs, too.
That's right. This is another really interesting direction. They're currently working on creating special AI models specifically tailored to help students with dyslexia or other learning disabilities.
That could be incredibly impactful.
It really could. It shows the potential for AI not just to personalize generally, but to create genuinely inclusive learning environments where every student gets the support they need to thrive.
And beyond Oman, do they see this having wider relevance?
They do. There's a strong belief that this system, this approach developed in Oman, could serve as a really valuable model, a kind of blueprint for other countries in the Gulf region who are also looking at bringing in more adaptive, personalized learning solutions.
It really feels like this is a prime example of how technology, when it's used thoughtfully, especially AI, could genuinely transform education. Not just tweaking around the edges, but fundamentally changing things for the better.
I completely agree. It's harnessing data, harnessing these intelligent algorithms to build learning experiences that aren't just about stuffing information in, but about understanding the individual learner, making it more effective, sure, but also more engaging, more motivating, just a better experience overall.
Food for thought, isn't it? Dr. Ul Islam and his team's work in Oman really paints a compelling picture of what a more personalized, maybe more effective future for education could look like.
It certainly does. It really highlights how tech can move beyond just delivering content to actually adapting to the learner in really meaningful ways.
So thinking about this incredible development in Oman,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other specific learning challenges, maybe ones you've seen or heard about, do you think AI could potentially tackle next?